Hello, and welcome to the Designing with Love podcast. I am your host, Jackie Pellegrin, where my goal is to bring you information, tips, and tricks as an instructional designer. Hello, GCU students and alumni. Welcome to episode 16 of the Designing with Love podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing a recent graduate of the Instructional Design program, Shane Wolfe. Welcome, Shane, to my podcast today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad we had a chance to connect and get together just as you finished your program as well. So, when did you earn your master's degree in instructional design from GCU?
I finished the program just last week, February 2024.
Great. So you're fresh and new, and you're getting your diploma soon, so that's good. I like that. Wonderful. Congratulations on that.
Thanks so much.
A big accomplishment. I've been there before, so I know that feeling of just relief and an accomplishment. Absolutely.
It was a lot of work.
Yes. It wasn't easy, right? And especially juggling work and family and then school on top of it. Yeah, it's one other layer of having to juggle things and make sure that you can do the work and do it to the best of your ability. So, yeah, that can be challenging.
I finished it out with a 3.8 GPA, and it was worth it.
Yay, that's great. Awesome. So what aspects of the program did you enjoy the most?
I think I enjoyed the different projects, and they all and in different courses with different instructors. And so it kind of gave me the opportunity to try different design programs and different design ideas, and learn what I think would be a best fit for me and how I envision myself getting into this field rather than being stuck with one program maybe that a professor says I have to master and it has to be this one. I kind of had the freedom to search around and choose what would work for me, and had some help deciding what ones are good ideas and what employers out there really want to see.
That's good. Yeah, I like that, because then you're not, like you said, you're not boxed into something specific, and you really get to explore different avenues and see what really works for what you're looking to do. And also, like you said, what the industry is looking for too, when it comes to skill set, because as they say, you never know where life takes you, and you never know what direction you're going to go. So being able to have those skills on hand is really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
Well. Yeah. Especially with technology, it's always changing. And, just when we think we've got a grasp on it, then it changes at the drop of a hat, right? With even probably with your job with K through 12, you're probably seeing AI technology being really predominant. It's coming around a lot in higher education too. So it's a very interesting thing for sure.
It's been a big deal and really changed the way that we have to assess kids, because it is so easy there are so many tools that you can use to answer any kind of work that you might need, and they are masters of finding it.
Yeah. Even the little young kids, you wouldn't think they would be, but it's amazing how they can find their way around technology and everything. So it's amazing. That's great. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed that part of it, with being able to explore those different tools and find what you really liked work for you and as well. So that's great. So shifting a little bit into what you do. So what kind of work do you currently do?
Oh, I spent a long time as about 7 years as a K through 12 classroom teacher, taught middle school and high school. This year I am a academic behavior support coach. And so I help teachers come up with plans and strategies to work with students that are struggling with their academic behaviors.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that must be challenging in some ways, but then rewarding in some aspects too.
Yeah, it's my first year teaching, but not teaching in the classroom, and it's different. it's when everything works and comes together and everybody collaborates and you see big results, you really make a big impact on those children's lives, and their academic future going forward.
Yeah, that's amazing. Definitely. And so since you're working in that capacity, are you currently looking for work as an instructional designer or a similar role? And if so, how's that process going for you?
Yeah, I am. I've been kind of tweaking my online portfolio, which, from what I can tell, basically all the jobs pretty much require you to have one and submit that along with your resume and cover letter. So I've been kind of professionalizing that and really taking a look at what other professional designers and their websites and their online portfolios look like, and trying to model after theirs as best as I can. Because I know that's a big piece that seems to be a big piece that employers look for.
Right. That's true. They want to see some of those work samples, right? Or just examples of the kind of work you've done, whether it's in the education area with what you've completed with your degree, or just in the general work that you've done as well.
Yeah. All the jobs need you to submit work samples. So this is the way that you do that. And it seems to be, I've had a couple interviews so far in the past couple months, and all of them have asked about work samples and had a discussion about that.
Oh, wow. So that's exciting that you've had a couple even before you graduated. Yeah. I like to hear that, when students are able to get ahead of that and not think about it after graduation, but start to really think about getting out there and applying even before graduation. That's important, because then you're ahead of most students usually when you do that.
For sure. Yeah,
that's exciting. Well, I hope it goes well and that you're able to find something either within the district that you work in or close by. So hopefully you'll have something that's close to home and you don't have to travel too far or anything like that. Because I know that can be a strain too if you have something that's not too close to home. I've done that before, and after a while you're just like, I can't do this hour commute anymore. It's tough. It can be hard. So hopefully you can find something that's within, a good distance and something that you can manage as well. So,
yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. So are there any specific areas in which you're expanding your knowledge and skills in the field now that you've officially graduated? Kind of some areas where you're you mentioned, you're boosting your portfolio and things like that. So are there any areas that you're highlighting or where you really want to dig in further?
Yeah, I think I need to have some work samples that's some instructional design content that's designed outside of education. Throughout the coursework, most of the projects I did touched on or revolved around educational issues in some way, because that's my job. But if I'm going to be applying for roles that are going to be outside of the K-12 world, they're going to want to see examples of work that's outside the K-12 world.
Okay,
so that's good. I'm kind of working just on the side of making in a steel fabricating workshop, like a training course for them. My best friend is a shop manager there, and so just for practice, kind of working on a course for that to share and implement and put all that on my online portfolio, so that there's an example on there that's outside the K-12 field.
That's exciting, Shane. I like that, because you're thinking outside the realm of K through 12 education, and you're looking at different industries like corporate training and things like that too. Yeah, that's great. And it's great that you have a friend that you can say, hey, can I do some of this and just practice a little bit? And it's always nice when you have that opportunity to do that. So that's wonderful. Yeah. Anytime you can do that, it's great.
Yeah. Their company contracts an instructional designer every year to do like their required safety updates that they have to do. So this year I'm just kind of doing that.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. And hopefully you can get a little bit of if you don't, that's okay too, but it's always nice when you can get a little bit of compensation on the side and help a little bit with that too. But if not, it's always good to kind of give a little bit back to the community too at the same time.
Yeah. And, I'm not saying I I won't, but the main reason I'm doing it is for the practice and the experience and to have the finished product.
That's great. Yeah. And maybe there's some opportunities down the road to do maybe nonprofit or something like that down the road too. If there's an area that you're passionate about and interested in, that could be also a great area too to maybe explore. Yeah. That's great. I like that you're really thinking of how you can diversify your portfolio and diversify your skills and your work samples too. So that's great. Diversification is very important too in the industry and instructional design in general as well. There's just so many areas you can do in instructional design. So it's great.
It's a big field and there's availability everywhere.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely. So the last question, and feel free this is the one where many of the students that I interviewed, this is the one they take the longest on because it is one that, I save it for last because it's like the golden gem. And it's the one where I think students love the most answering, and then students love hearing it the most too. So feel free to, go into as much detail as you want on this one because we've got time. So what are some tips and advice you can share with those who are currently in the master's program in instructional design at GCU?
I would say to make sure that you balance your coursework and the requirements for your coursework with your job life and your home life. And make sure that you are really proactive in working on the assignments and you're looking ahead and you're really getting an overview of what each course is and what's going to be required so that you know where you're going in the very beginning and you're working towards that end goal the entire time, which I think all the courses kind of start you off like your first objective is to look through the course and ask questions and put comments and concerns and what's things you already know and what are things you don't know. It's like you're on your discussion board. It's one of the first things that you do for all the courses.
Right.
And that, you don't get points or anything for doing that, but I think that may actually be like one of the most important pieces.
That's true. And I think it gets overlooked. I probably have about half the students in my class that don't do it. Maybe about 60% that do it, 40% that don't. And so, yeah, that's important that you mention that. That's the first time I've had a student talk about that DQ and just the importance of it, of kind of evaluating the whole course. That's important.
Yeah, a lot of once you get past the first few courses in the program, which are more, like content-y, undergrad type things, content courses, and you're really practicing the field skills and the instructional design skills, you're kind of usually you're working towards like an end result in the very end. And so you want to have an idea of where all this is going to end up in 5 weeks when you are done. Because if you are just going week by week by week and it's all disjointed, I don't think it flows together and creates a very good product at the end, or you'll be stressed out trying to figure it all out in the last week or two. I think it really benefits people to look through the whole course and get an idea and kind of make a game plan for what they want to do, and they can be working towards getting the pieces and parts of that together all 6 weeks. And so when it's time to sit down and write out the evaluation plan or the needs assessment or whatever the task might be, you have an idea of what you need to go do. And you've lined up people to talk to, or you found people that have volunteered their time to work with you.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah, and then you don't run behind either, right, on your coursework, and you're not going, oh no, now I'm a couple days behind and I don't know if I'm going to get this assignment in on time, and you're not panicking, right?
Right.
You don't have the panic mode as much. Yeah.
Right. And, a lot of the later courses kind of depend on people being willing to work with you. And so you've got to kind of network and find people who will be willing to try some of your instructional solutions and apply your ideas in real life.
Right.
And that, that is not going to happen in 6 days if you just start working on that right when it's due.
Hello, I have some exciting news to share with all of my listeners. There is a feature called Fan Mail. What this allows you to do is send me a text message anytime during the episode. There's a link located at the top of the description in each episode, and it says send Jackie a text message. So when you click on that link, you'll be able to send me a message letting me know what you thought about the episode and if you have any ideas for future episode content as well. I look forward to seeing your text messages. Thank you. Oh, so true. Yes. And that's how it is in the real world too. I experience that every day. I have to contact anyone I'm going to work with well enough in advance, or contact even the college that I work with and say, okay, who do you want for this course coming up that I have to revise, or this program I have to revise, 6 weeks down the road. And it may seem like, wow, that's a long time to think about that. But then when you line everybody up, it just makes it so much smoother for sure. That's a great point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You definitely don't want to be trying to figure all that out, and it's due in 3 or 4 days.
Right. That's true. Yeah. And do you recommend students look ahead, maybe even to the other courses? Because I know in the capstone, they recommend pulling that. You don't really have to, but they recommend in the syllabus pulling that assignment from the 525 course and then being able to utilize that to do the evaluation. So do you recommend students kind of look ahead to that as well and just kind of have that maybe big picture overview from course to course as well?
Yeah. And there is a document. There is like a program guide.
Right.
That says all the courses in kind of like a 1 paragraph summary of what each one's going to be. I kind of referenced that throughout the program to kind of see what I had just done, where I was going, and kind of see how it all connects together. So I kind of knew what I was doing and why I was doing it. And it is going to be really important that you're able to save your work somewhere where you can access it later. Because when you're putting your final portfolio together and in your last couple classes, you're going to be kind of using the products and the instructional content that you've been making for the past few months to put all those final pieces in place. So it would definitely be a good idea to be looking ahead to see which courses kind of connect to each other and what you're going to need for those ones. I know a lot of people kind of use to kind of like recycle the free trials of different instructional design courses, which I did probably for the first couple courses. But then when your free trial's up, everything you just made is gone, right?
Oh, true.
So you won't have those available to put on your online portfolio because your links to those things will not work again.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't think a lot of students think about that, and maybe instructors may not think about that either. So, wow, yeah. That's a good good learning experience that you can pass along for sure.
I would say I think it would be a good idea to maybe include in the program a subscription to one of the instructional design programs, probably Articulate, Storyline.
Yeah.
and just have that be in our student loans.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I would agree that, and that's what's nice about that is that with Rise 360, it's all web based, which is wonderful. Yeah, and it's so much easier to share that way than trying to use Captivate. And I think that was that used to be the requirement before, and now it's not the requirement anymore. But yeah, that would be nice. When I was in school, when I went to the school I went to, they had it was an Adobe suite that we had. It didn't have Captivate though, which was odd, but it had all the others. It had Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. It was really nice. Though I almost wish we had more time to kind of delve into those tools. That was the only thing. I was like, wait, we have access to these tools and yet I'm barely using them. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And yet, in this program, you guys are delving into all kinds of tools and doing this, but then you're having to go out and seek it. So it's kind of interesting how different programs approach it different ways. So yeah, that's a good suggestion for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting, once you come to the point in the coursework where you're starting to design, instructional solutions and, training courses and stuff, I would recommend going ahead and getting a subscription to one of the programs. And for me, I use Storyline. Yeah. For most, I tried Captivate, which I liked. Again, having that freedom to be able to try, and then I just ended up liking Storyline a lot better. It just seemed to make more sense to me and was really user friendly. And I just watched a couple videos on kind of how to use it, and then kind of worked off their templates and adjusted everything to fit my needs.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a lot easier to use for sure. Yep. It's and what's nice too is that you can use the Storyline option and really build and customize something, and you can even use it with Rise 360, which is nice. So you can create something very customized, and then you can go into Rise 360, which is that web-based version, and then you can import anything you've created in Storyline. So it's really great because they work hand in hand. And there's the micro-learning option in Rise 360, which is really, micro-learning has taken off quite a bit. So it's really great. That's out of all the podcasts episodes that I've done, the micro-learning one, which was the second one I did last May, is still the highest one that I've done. It gets the highest downloads out of all of them. So I'm like, wow, that must mean something. It's like students are drawn to that. So it's interesting that's something that Rise Articulate had recognized that, okay, we need to build something like this. And so it's really nice. And they have templates too. And just like in Storyline. So it's really nice to have that whole suite. And then if your organization or your school or company uses it, it's nice too, because then you have access to Review 360 where you can send things for review and approval before you finalize it. So it really makes it nice for the instructional designer or the curriculum developer in that way too. So it's,
my school district uses training courses that were designed in Storyline. So like now that, which I never knew before, but now that I have this experience, I can tell, hey, I know why this looks like this.
Yeah.
I know what this is.
Right. You recognize it now. Exactly. That's cool. Wow. That's neat. That's definitely good advice about the software. I think that's great. And I think that's something that students should consider, because even if it's, that year long, it's only short term, and they're not doing it for a long time. So it's just for the time that they're in the program. Yeah. And so, so it's not forever. And the nice thing too, is there's the education discount, which helps to save some money too.
Yeah.
On that.
It's a big discount. And between that and some other programs like Canva, educators get for free. So you can make a lot of those like job aids and stuff like that through Canva. A lot of like narrated PowerPoints and stuff like that, all through Canva for free. Really easy.
Right. Yeah, it's really nice. And Canva keeps adding to their their tools and their and all their features, and especially with AI now, there's so many different technology options in there now. So it's really great to be able to constantly have those things available at your fingertips too. So that's good.
For sure.
Great. Yeah. Is there anything else you can think of, Shane, that you would kind of some advice or just anything that you wanted to share with students that are going through the program?
I would definitely recommend it. I think I learned a lot. I think I picked up skills that hopefully employers will want to see. I know, personally, my own educational growth, I learned a lot of new content, and I gained a lot of new skills throughout the program.
Great. That's wonderful. It's always I'm always happy to hear that the program is that you learned so much along the way. You were able to apply the information, and you weren't just, as they say, like sitting there just going, what am I doing here? Right? What did I get myself into? So it's great to hear that you've gathered all of that. You're continually developing your knowledge and your skills in the area, and that you're looking for that next big gig, as they say. So
that's the plan.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time with the interview. I know my students love this podcast. They appreciate, especially when I do interviews. That's the highlight, I think, of why I love doing it the most. So I appreciate the time, and I'll get this up on the podcast website soon, within the next couple weeks.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome, Shane. Anytime. Thank you for taking some time to listen to this podcast episode today. Please take a moment to like the episode and share it with others so they can learn about this topic as well. Have a great day.